you are somebody. And I posted this on my page a while ago. Well, technically yesterday. It said, nothing is impossible. Change your way of thinking and you can be or have whatever you truly desire. So just remember, like, your mind is either going to be your biggest strength or your biggest downfall.
And the choice is yours.
Yes.
Completely.
It's literally yours. Like, you choose whichever whichever path you want to go. Like Robert Frost said, there was two paths in the woods. I chose to take the road less traveled.
What are you doing today that makes you better than the person you were yesterday? That is part of the Ascension brand. That is the motto, the heart of what we stand for. When I pass away, I want people to know. I want people to remember me. Not for the time that I spent on this planet, but for the things that I have done to contribute to society. My mama raised a loser, but I broke the chains. I wasn't made to be.
What's going on, world? Welcome back to the Dirty Trunk Podcast, where the elephant is always welcome. I am your host for the day, Aaron Mack, the man formerly known as AJ McMullen, always known as AJ McMullen. And I am here today with Alyssa Ramirez and a special guest that has graced us with her presence today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to welcome, for the first time ever to the Dirty Trump Podcast, the host of Wine Rants or Sober Thoughts, Miss Pandora Bloom.
Hi, y'all.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. This is my first time here. Hello.
Now, I wanna like say for the first time, like, I thought this would have already been happened, like, just being real, because like we go way back, like. Yo, I think I was in high school when I met you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We were in high school. God, that was years.
Yeah, crazy.
Years ago.
Like
I feel
we,
like an old lady.
and it's not like we ain't never worked together before, because like we had music together at some point. So like, I like when I saw you were doing podcasts, I was like, oh,
yeah.
I mean, it's only got to happen.
Yeah. We was only bound to cross paths sooner or later. I ain't want to be like a noob and ask like I didn't want to seem like thirsty or nothing. Like I wanted you on the podcast. So like I just like I'm gonna wait till I got something established first. So to start asking for guests. Like we still don't even ask for guests. Like it's crazy.
Just go for it. Yeah. That's what I do.
I mean, obviously I should at some point, because like, you know. It's good marketing to have other people on. So, since we got you on, tell the people about a little bit about yourself and what we're here to talk about today.
It depends. What do you want to know about me? Well, I have Wine Rants and Sober Thoughts. I'm a single mommy. The reason why we're here today is to talk about mental health. I've been going through some things for the last what month is this? This is what, October?
Yeah, October 1st.
The last 3 or 4 months with my mental health. And, I just thought I'd come out and talk about it, you know?
Yeah, it's really important too.
Yeah, like people look past their mental health. They don't understand, like, it's important. So I'm here to, as a person who is still currently going through it, I'm here to be the, in a sense, maybe the spokesperson or maybe a face, you know? And yeah.
Love that.
Perfect. All right, so obviously I don't want to just like jump straight into that, because you know we got a whole hour to break into all of the tears and everything that probably is going to happen, because you know I can definitely relate to all of that. Like I got stories for days that you know, even some that we've actually talked about in short order in the Dirty Trump Podcast, but being that this is the place where the elephant is always welcome and uncomfortable conversations are welcomed, I guess that, you know, this is the perfect platform for that. So hopefully this episode helps a lot of people. I'm going to make sure that a lot of people who needs to hear it, because, you know, as we talk about this mental health thing, for whatever reason, like I like people just don't understand that they actually need to talk about it. Like it's crazy. Like we grew up in a era where, you know, I'm a little older than y'all, but you know, you know, those few years make a difference. You know, like for whatever reason, like I remember one time like I got beat for saying that I was depressed, and I was actually saying it. Like I think I was like not maybe 9 or 10, something like that. And, I was like my dad had passed away. Like I'm going through things like in school. Like I don't have all my stuff together. Mom didn't want to talk, like have no conversation, no real conversation with me. So like I said I was depressed, and I got hit for it. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Yeah. So like, yeah. Anyway,
it's so strange how society actually just makes it impossible for men, especially, to admit that they're going through some shit.
Yeah.
So tell us like, all right. So I got some questions. Wine rants and sober thoughts.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
So, all right. So I had just moved out of my parents' house, right? And I had this apartment. I had nothing to do, and I would always catch myself just ranting over wine. And I would record myself on Instagram, like just in stories and things like that. And people would be like, girl, what are you talking about? You're always ranting. And so I just like, I need to make this into something. I need to talk about something. Like I need to make this into something public. So I saw podcasting. This is before it like got big and blew up. And I was like, shoot, why not just do it? And
try it out.
That's what I did. Wine rants or sober thoughts. That's how it came.
I remember those days where you were posting on Instagram, like doing like the stories and stuff. Like I used to like sit back and like listen to them, and I'm like,
yep.
Yo, I feel like we just had like a whole conversation.
Yep.
I don't know what we talked about, but I feel informed as a motherfucker. Yeah. I don't know what just happened, but like I feel like I just went to school a little bit. Like, oh, okay, all right, yeah. So I have listened to the first, like some of the episodes of the podcast, and yeah, like it was one of the things that kind of inspired me to keep going for real. Like, so like, yeah.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't listened to Wine Rants and Sober Thoughts, you should definitely go check that out.
Check it out.
Like right now. Well, not right now, but
after this episode.
Yeah. So I guess we should like break down what's been going on. I don't know how you want to get into it. Like we actually haven't talked about it yet.
Questions, whatever. Just dive into it. Like when I come in potting and I actually have heart for it, I'm raw. Like everything comes out genuinely. So whatever questions you got, lay it on me.
Well, like I mean, shit, I can go into a few stories. I guess you can kind of follow up whatever I have. But like, like I remember when I moved out of my mom's house. And like I was just coming back from like a divorce, and just kind of like I think people. How should I say this? I believe that people get into like this place where especially like growing up, you're trying to figure out who you are in life, what your purpose is, what road you're supposed to take in your existence or whatever. And I think I spent way too long in my life trying to follow roads that other people set for me. And I think that is what put me in a dark place. So like once I found out that, or once I put myself in a situation where I was by myself and I was responsible for everything that I was doing, won't nobody influencing anything that I was doing, like I think that's what put me in that dark place. To the point where like I ended up getting this. So like I got this because like I remember a time where I used to just stare at my wrist for a minute and just wonder like what would happen if I just let it go. Like I don't know what your story is. Like what like somebody take it.
Man,
it's already getting deep.
You go for it.
It's already getting deep.
So, all right. So, mine started honestly in, I want to say high school. I was picked on a lot, and I dealt with a lot at home. I don't really go. I want to go into detail, but I don't because I'm still very personal. Y'all know that. If you know me, you know me. If you don't, you don't. But I dealt with a lot of stuff at home, and what I dealt with at school just did not help me.
Yeah.
So when I went back home with all these problems, my parents thought like, "What's wrong with you? Like, why are you acting like that? Why are you throwing fits like this?" Da-da-da. But I didn't know it was depression or anxiety. I just know that I was in my room. I closed the door and blast Evanescence, write, listen to music, play my guitar, have my dogs, talk to them, whatever. I didn't know that was depression until, y'all, this stems from a lot. Fast forward into the future, I found out I'm pregnant. I'm a single mother. I'm looking at it as, I'm trying to, like, honestly, my entire pregnancy, I was trying to, like, figure myself out, figure everything out. Because I was still thinking about high school and how people picked on me and how there were girls saying, you're going to be a single mom because of this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm listening, I'm hearing all of these voices in my head. And it was just so much. But it was a point in time when I was like, okay, I'm going to shut this off. So I shut it off. I was good. And then it got to giving birth to my daughter, who's so beautiful. I love her so much. And if it weren't for my mother, I would have been in a hospital alone. Because the father he still doesn't want anything to do with her. So that weighed on me. And then still the voices from high school weighed on me. And on top of that, I had to move back home because, I got promoted or whatever at my job, but I wanted to be close to the family because I wanted my daughter to be with her mom and dad.
Right.
Well, not her mom and dad, my mother and father, her dad is not around.
Around
Anyway,
family in general.
Yeah, around family. And when I moved out, like, I just had this thing, like, in order to distract myself from whatever's going on in this house, because I'm not going to say that the environment that I'm living in is toxic, but it's not where I actually want to be. So I'm still dealing with childhood trauma from then. So that built up, and I started working, and long story short, I ended up having a manic episode with my daughter. Thankfully, I didn't get arrested, but I had a manic episode. I could hardly remember anything until I started playing music, and I was diagnosed with schizophreniform. So it's a lot. I'm not gonna keep talking. We're gonna dig deep into it, but that is like, wow.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, especially when it just stemmed from like all the past experiences, and then especially triggered by you having a daughter. I'm sure that you were like, okay, how am I going to provide for her in a way that was different from the way that my parents provided for me? Right. How am I going to protect her from the things that I dealt with growing up? And just on top of that, like, when you're pregnant, your hormones are all over the place.
Yeah.
Right. That, and that's a lot of pressure too. Like, just being a single parent, like, I don't even want to imagine that. Like, so, like, I know for a fact, like, I seen my mom go through it. So, like, and I was already born when she became a single parent. So, like, I can only imagine that the pressure wasn't nothing to play with.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Like, just what was the best ways that you found to just kind of get back to base?
Now I'm still struggling. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I look at her and I smile, but there's still a voice in my head telling me to end it. Like, I push so hard, like, for other people like me who are dealing with it, but I'm still not happy. If that makes any sense. Like, I hate to use Ariana Grande as a reference, but she put this perfectly in words. She said, basically, I'm upset, but I can make myself look pretty to make it seem like I'm okay. And that's how I am. Like, I dress up and whatever to make myself seem like I'm very happy, but in reality, I'm really miserable.
Yeah. And
that's kind of hard to say when, like, I feel like I'm being selfish when I say that because I have a daughter. And, I have everybody telling me, think of this, think of that, think of this, think of that. And I'm like, yo, like, I am.
Right. Like, that's probably one of the few things that's keeping you above water at this point.
Yeah, she's the only thing keeping me above water. But I'm like, I'm trying to be selfish without being selfish and think about myself, because what led me into this hole was thinking about everyone else.
Right.
And no one in my family is getting that right now. Like, I try to tell them, but they're like, you're being a narcissist, you're being this, you're being that. I'm like, yo, like, I literally worked, like, I had a full-time job with benefits, okay? I worked for the state of Virginia. I'm not gonna get into detail about that, but that woman worked me every single day. I did complain, but you know, me being the nice person that I am, I don't like to tattletale on people. So I just took it up a notch. I told somebody above her, and I was thinking, oh, he's gonna do something about it. Nothing was done. So I'm sitting there and I'm working every single freaking day, not eating, not sleeping, not seeing my daughter, not resting, nothing. Only thing I'm eating is a Snickers bar and water. That's it. That's it. And it broke me.
Yeah.
And that's why I had a manic episode, because I was literally looking out for everyone else. And the reason I was working was not only for my daughter, was because of my dad and my mom. Like, I had to provide for them too.
Yeah.
So all of this put me in a hole. And now I'm feeling the pressure of that. And my parents are like, it's going to be okay. I woke them up, but I don't feel okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm ever going to feel okay.
Oh, that's a hard thing to even remotely go through.
Yeah.
Of course, like one philosophy of Ascension Media Group is take care of your star player. And when I came across that philosophy, like you said, like depression usually stems from the problems that we have thinking about other people and how other people see us. And for whatever reason, I don't know how it happens, but because we internalize what goes on in the minds of other people so much, we internalize that. And I'm not sure where that comes from or how it happens, but like at some point you just got to cut it off. Like, it sounds easier said than done, but like I realized that most of my depression when I was growing up came from the relationship that I had with my mom. And you said something about somebody saying you're narcissistic. Alyssa, she can talk about this a little better than I can, but like her book talks about this thing called the villain era, where like once it happens, you just set up boundaries, and you take care of your star player. You take care of yourself, and once you start doing that, once that starts taking place, everybody around you is going to start. They're going to start reacting to that. They're going to start responding to the fact that you're trying to take care of yourself, and the fact that you're trying to take care of your needs and putting your needs above them. Because let's be real, you're going to start acting a little bit different because of that. So what most people do, what usually happens is that, like, what I've noticed is that once the other people start to react to it, the reaction that they give is usually like a drug that usually pulls you back in. Like, I don't know if that was that's your problem or not, but like, I know for a fact that that's something that I went through. And that's one thing that because I can relate to everything that you just said. Like that feeling of, you know, I just want it to be over. Like, I don't even know if it's like you want to end your life. You just want it to be over.
And you want the pressure and the pain and
right.
Yeah, I just wanted to stop.
Right. And just being real, like I don't know if that pain or pressure, like the pressures of life, like I don't know if it ever really stops. You just kind of like at some point you just kind of get better at handling what comes at you. Because like Alyssa can tell you, like I go through like pressure that people can't even imagine on a daily basis, like just trying to build this business and working everything up. Like, and then on top of that, we are planning to have children that next year. So like I want to get to a place where I want to get to a place where we're actually good enough to have children and be financially stable and things like that. But at the same time, it's like, yo, are you ever ready? No, like you're not in a place right now to even financially take care of a child. So like, what do you think you really doing? So like, it's things like that. Like, so the pressure, like I'm taking that pressure, internalizing it, and I'm turning it into, like, what I used to do is I used to let that destroy me. Like, I used to actually let, like, I'm trying not to butcher it, y'all. Like, bear with me. So like, there was a time in my life, and I remember I started doing YouTube, started making these videos, like everything that we talk about on the Dirty Trump podcast. I used to actually talk about that stuff on YouTube, and like just the mental health piece. Like, I remember doing videos on that, but I remember when back in those days, it wasn't even that long ago. Like, it was like right before I got this semicolon tattoo. Like, I was actually like in between the videos. Like, I felt like I was sitting in front of this camera right here, and I would like be recording the video, and then I realized that me talking about it actually made a difference. Like, me talking about it actually made it better. Me talking about it actually justified the fact that, you feeling that way, but what are you gonna do about it? And what I used to do about it, like, real talk, like, I don't know if I can't say if the feeling is the same between male and female. Like, I don't really know if there's a difference. I just know that at some point I used to let it hold me down. Like, I used to let the problems that I was having win. But there was a point in my life where I kind of reversed that, and like, somebody told me, like, yo, it's literally your choice of how you handle it. And I just made the choice to not let it hold me down anymore.
Yeah.
That makes it, wow. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's always hard to follow up on that, just because I know just from what you've told me, love, like what you've gone through, and just trying to process in my own way what I've gone through. I can't necessarily say that I've had like an experience like the two of you have, but just seeing others in my family going through what they have, that made me feel like I wasn't allowed to. Like, I was made to, like, okay, I have to be the good daughter. I'm the first daughter. Like, I have to make sure that I'm the perfect one. I need to make straight A's. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to take up less space. I need to, like, I can't be too loud. I need to take care of my little brothers and sisters, and just like that internalized pressure that you feel over time. And I don't know if you have siblings or anything like that. I know that Aaron doesn't, but just like knowing like the pressure, like I was a second mom to not only myself, but also my siblings. And so that's a lot of pressure to add on to yourself. So just like from me trying to cope through everything, like me writing my book, trying to recall past traumas and everything else, I'm like, I remember some things, but I feel like eventually you just kind of block it out, that you're like, yep, nope, not going to deal with any of this anymore. Just not even going to handle it. And I think that's one of the things that probably saved me from making it much worse. But just seeing my mom, like whenever she's under extreme stress, like when COVID and everything happened, she would just break down like right after she lost her job, and right after she was asked to take a 24-month leave of absence, essentially, without pay and without benefits and all that good stuff. She would sit in the middle of, or sit or stand in the middle of the living room and just rip clumps of her hair out. Or she would say, with her head down or crying or whatever, saying, I wish I weren't here anymore. Things would be better. Maybe you guys would have life insurance that you can take over. Or, like, it was just sad to see that. And, like, I almost felt worse because I didn't know how to react. Because I think that I blocked myself from feeling any kind of way because I'm an empath, that I'm like, yep, nope, nope, go away.
Hey, and like, for real, like, and just to add on to what you're saying about that, like the blocking it out, like, once again, we go back to taking care of your star player. Like, you gotta, like, you can help people, but you can't internalize what they internalize. Like, you can't go through you can't deal with somebody else's pain. Like, it's almost like the girl from what's the show that we watch, Motherland. When she take the pain, like when she take the pain from people, like there's a witch on this show called Motherland Fort Salem, who I don't know if any of our people watching, if they actually seen that or not, but like when she's a healer. But the unique thing about her power is like there's plenty of healers, but for whatever reason, when she heals, she takes the pain from the people and she feel it herself. But the problem is that when she takes it, and this the irony of the story, that like when she takes the pain, she feels it and she internalizes it. It makes her completely ineffective to the fight that they having. So like if you put that same notion to your own life, like to take. And the reason I'm saying this because like some people like their depression stems from other people's depression. Like you can realize that you ain't even depressed. You just depressed because you might not
You're
understand.
surrounded by others that are.
Right. And you might not understand that you got empathic tendencies where if somebody else is feeling something, then you feel it too. Cause you know, you hate seeing people under pressure or under stress or whatever. I remember my mom for whatever reason, she didn't want to know anything about financial literacy, and it showed.
Yeah.
So every second Sunday, she like sitting at her kitchen table and she got her head buried in her checkbook, tears dripping all into the checkbook because she ain't got enough money to pay the bills. But like I saw that and I'm like, I need to do something about that. I need to, take that problem. So, I started working when I was 12 years old. So I'm under the pressure of trying to be a man and trying to make money for a household, somebody else's household at the age of 12, 13 years old. And it didn't make sense, but that's the thing that put me in the headspace that I'm in now. And it also desensitized me to what I was going through.
Yeah.
And just to put it out there, like, that's also one thing that you need to be cautious of. Like if anybody who's listening to this, like especially grown men, like when you become desensitized to the problem that you have within, it shows in your behavior.
Yeah.
Like I don't care how much you try to hide it.
Boy, does it.
I don't care how much you try to hide it, how much you ignore it, it's there. It's there. Like I've talked about it on previous episodes. Like, yo, for real. Like you have to deal with that monster inside of you. Like there's no hiding it. Like the more you keep trying to sweep stuff under the rug and act like it ain't there, eventually the rug, there's a lump there somewhere that you're gonna trip over.
You're gonna lump. You're gonna get a rug burn. You're gonna scab. You're gonna pick at it. You're gonna
right.
Yep.
Yeah, just following up what you two saying, I think the three of us have in common, we like to take other people's problems, but we don't realize it, being an empath. However, following up what you said as well, we can't ignore it. Like this goes back to my podcast episode, Keep Pushing. I just dropped it I think last week. You got to find ways to create it out. Either talk to somebody, something. Because when you let it build, you're going to end up like me having a manic episode. There's an artist on my page who posted something saying that he is currently dealing with mental depression or whatever he's dealing with. And he said he's not going to find help because if he does, they're going to lock him away and put him in a loony bin. I told him, look, if you don't get help right now, you're going to end up having a manic break and you're actually going to get thrown into the loony bin because that's how I got where I am right now.
Exactly.
So you can't allow your problems to build up and just ignore it, because when you do, the star player is they're going to miss the hoop. Like the ball's going to go that way and it's going to fall. Like you ain't going to make it.
And it's also like creating a problem for yourself when you try to ignore it. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe it's just the culture in general. Maybe it's just the fact that people don't like paying nobody to deal with things that they can deal with on their own. But the fact of the matter is that you're not dealing with it on your own anyway, so you're going to have to pay somebody to do it. Like, for real, like, I see it all the time. Like, I don't know how you feel about depression medication. I personally don't believe in it. Like, being honest, like, somebody was like, yo, you don't need depression medication. Just go outside for a little bit. Just ignore what you do for a daily basis. I know for a fact that my job is my full-time job, my vanilla is a
soul-sucking demon.
That's not what I was about to say. That's not what I was about to say. But I know for a fact that my job contributes to depression. Like I see it all the time, and some of my coworkers, for whatever reason, they let all of the stuff that happens there get under their skin, and they become bitter, they become jaded to everything. Like all of the things that we're talking about right now, they become that. Like when they're there, they feel like they're nothing. I don't know. I went into all that in the last episode, but we just started talking about paychecks, and they just gave us a raise, and for whatever reason everybody they mad because they ain't getting enough money. That also caused a lot of depression. I seen people dealing with a whole bunch of internal demons during that time period. But like for real, you have to like I can't stress this enough. Like you can't ignore the things that you're doing that are contributing to the stress. And maybe you don't know, maybe you don't understand that what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is part of the problem. Like the people you dealing with is part of the problem. Like I remember back when I was in high school, like this is real talk. Like it's like some of the people who it's hilarious because Francis gonna know. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Pandora is gonna know exactly who I'm talking about when I say this. But like, there was some people who I was like people that I was cool with, people who I was like close to, who for whatever reason when I was around them, I shrunk myself down to please them. Like I know a few people where like, and whenever they were around, they expected me to act a certain way, and that certain way led me down a dark path. So there might be some people that you associate with in your life that you just need to just let go.
Yeah, set that boundary with them.
Now, the problem here is that like this is a double-edged sword, right? Because it's something that you need to do, but when you're going through the storm, you can't follow the eye of the storm. You gotta let everything, whatever that storm is going to bring you, you're gonna have to let it hit you. Now that's one thing that people don't want to do, was like everything that you're feeling, everything that you're going through, everything that you're internalizing, you're gonna have to go through all of that, because the problem is that you've been trying to hide from it. The problem is that you've been trying to let it just, I don't know. You just wanted to put it in this little box, and you just gonna let it. You put it in Pandora's box, and you just gonna let. You just try to lock it. That box is shaking. That box, like you see like all these demons trying to come from it. You just gonna let it sit there, but at some point you're gonna have to open it, because the box making noise. The box is disturbing everything that you're trying to do. Every time you try to walk out the room, the box just get in front of you. The box is like blocking the windows, blocking the sunlight, all type of stuff. You're gonna have to deal with it, and the only way that those problems are going to disappear is if you allow yourself to grieve whatever it is that's keeping you down. I know most of the time it's like situational things, like you can't. I tread lightly saying this, like your personal situations, whatever you like. If it's something that you can't change, be that as it may, let it go. You can't change stuff that's already happened. The past is the past. There's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can change about it. You can't go back.
You can only move on.
You can go into the Aether universe and you can read about changing the past, but that's about all you can do. You can't change the past. But those problems that you have created, or the problems that you're going through, you're going to have to understand that it's not your fault. You're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to let it go, and you're gonna have to move on. And it's gonna be hard. That's gonna be the hardest part. But the hardest part of dealing with it is usually the best part, because once you're done with it, you're done with it. It goes away.
Absolutely right. In the words of and for the people who feel lost, in the words of Cheshire Cat, my favorite movie, Alice in Wonderland, there is no right or wrong path if you do not know which way to go. So if you're standing there and you're dealing with all this in your head, make sure you shimmy it all. It's like, okay, I don't know which path to go on. You feel depressed, you feel happy, you feel upset. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know. Okay, so just walk. Yeah. Just walk. but make sure you face those problems. Because no matter what path you end up on, if you don't rid of them now, you're going to face them later on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You always going to face them.
Right.
Until you decide that you don't want to deal with them anymore.
Well, and it's funny, too, because I've recently came across some quote. I think that it was an Alux video. They say
Shout
that...
out to Alux.
They say, on average, an individual can only name 7 emotions that they're feeling. Mm-hmm. And just knowing that sometimes we just bottle things up or we just try to ignore them and not face them and not recognize where things stem from and what connects to where. And, like, there's so many people that don't even know what the hell they're feeling, just in a sense of, like, am I depressed? Am I just encompassing what another individual is feeling? What are they feeling? How do I recognize that in another person? Are they stressed from money, or are they stressed from me, or are they... There's so many problems that people create upon themselves. Like, for me personally, like, I could think that my mom thinks that I'm the worst person in the world just because of whatever situation I caused because I didn't take up less enough space. Whereas she can be completely dealing with something else, some completely different emotion that at the time I couldn't have recognized it, and I'd carry it 20, 30 years down the road thinking that I was the problem all this time. Like, we create our own problems.
Right, because here's the difference. Because I've watched Alyssa do that before, and meanwhile I'm sitting over here just like, why do you care?
That's the answer to it. Majority of the time, why do you care?
Yeah.
Right, like
why should you care?
That's her problem if she feels like that. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with you. You a grown woman living your life. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with, anyway.
It's not your burden to bear.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I pulled out something that I took a snapshot of a while ago, and I didn't know I was on actually be reading it off, but like it's fitting because it's exactly what we're talking about. It's talking about dealing with trauma. And it was posted on Instagram by the High Priestess 11 and shared by Dove Cameron. I don't know if anybody know who that is, but it says how trauma is stored in the body. When we experience a traumatic event, our mind and body takes a snapshot. This snapshot contains not only the event, but also the emotion tied to it. The snapshot is stored in your body if it's not released. If it's not released, it is stored in your body. It then becomes a trigger and will block your chakras and energy from flowing through your body, causing you to become unconscious of your own actions. It also causes physical illnesses over time if it is not cleared and transmuted. This throws you into a loop of suffering.
Manic panic.
Yeah.
That's what I had.
So once again, we go back to the real deal. Like, you still holding on to things that you should let go. Now, all right. So it becomes kind of taboo to tell somebody that, what you went through is I ain't gonna say insignificant, because there's been times where I tried to talk somebody through something and they went through something and they kind of blew up at me because I kind of seemed like I was being insensitive. But like, for real, like we've all gone through stuff. We've all like I don't care, like you a human, you went through something. Like I love when people tell me I try to ask you what's your why. You like, I've never gone through anything. I ain't never been through anything traumatic. I'm like, hell yeah. You just ain't dig deep enough. Like, for real. Or maybe you just let it go to the point where you just, you're done with it. But, either way, like, what you've gone through is tough. I get it. I understand. Like, it's a problem. I've been there. I promise you I've been there. Like, I've gone through things that me personally, I don't talk about, that that has created some challenges in my life right now. Like, I've talked to Alyssa about them, so it's not like I keep them to myself. But up until I met her, I kept them to myself, and they were things that created problems on the front end that I didn't know were actual problems. So what you're going to need to do is you're just going to have to talk to somebody about it. Like, I don't care how deep it is, how embarrassing it is, you're gonna have to find your crowd. Obviously, you're gonna have to find somebody who's not gonna judge you for it or whatever you went through. Like, I know some people who done went through some weird stuff, and like they try to talk about it and people just look at them funny, and I'm like, yo, that's kind of fucked up that person did to you. But here's the beauty about that. If you start talking to somebody about it and they feel some type of way about you and they disappear out of your life because of it, that's probably a person that's contributing to the depression.
Yep.
Either that or they have their own problems. They ain't trying to deal with yours.
Yeah.
Be that as it may, if they can't accept you for who you are,
Then
they gotta go. They gotta go. Like, even and here's the deep part about it. That even applies to your parents, bro.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's the deep part about it. It applies to the people that you love. Like, there could be, like, you can be dealing with something that is revolving around the people that you hold close to you and that you live with. It could be the person that is sleeping in the bed right next to you. It could be your best friend that you grew up with. Like, things like time doesn't matter when it comes to the people in your life that is holding you back. If that makes any sense. So it's like that the analogy of the storm. We all go through storms in our lives. We all go through dark times, but we all know that the eye of the storm is the weakest part of the storm, right? We all know that. What most people do is they try to stay in the eye, because if they they go off out into the wilderness, then the storm is going to rain down on them, whatever. You can find yourself in the middle of this storm. And storms move on their own. Here's the thing. Storms move on their own. You ain't got to move with it. And you can find yourself in a situation where you're trying to deal with something, but the people in your life are also the ones trying to keep you where you are. And here's of the person that I brought up earlier in the podcast that I used to associate myself with, who kept me where I was because it benefited that person. So what you went through, I'll come back to this. I thought I was stalling enough to actually figure out the words to say it, but like it don't get any easier to actually say, like, the trauma that you're going through is relevant, but it really ain't. You making it relevant.
Yeah.
You're making a problem out of it. Like, it doesn't need to be a problem. Like, it's only a problem because you say it's a problem. So if you choose to say that it's not a problem, and you choose to say that I move past it, or you choose to let it go, like, of course there's going to be some pain that's associated with letting it go. Like, I know a girl, oh man, it's crazy. I know a girl who she went to a party when she was in college, and ended up getting too drunk and ended up having a bunch of guys take advantage of her, and she looking at it like it's her fault. I'm like, yo, how old are you now? Like, you don't even need to talk about that. That's not you.
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with your right now. Like, yo, for real, like, I understand that you went through it and it hurt, but are you like the only pain that's coming from this right now is the fact that you still living in that moment like it just happened yesterday. You still talking about it like it just happened yesterday. It's keeping you from being in a good relationship. It's keeping you from finding a person that actually loved you. Like, you got people that's right there. They right there, and for whatever reason, you looking at this situation back then like it just happened, and then you looking at the dude like he the one that did it to you. So the longer you keep sweeping it, the longer it persists.
That was deep. Yeah.
Well, and go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, good.
The way that you were phrasing that just made me think of on S2S. Carl always talks about how
Secret to Success podcast for people who don't know.
How many podcasts go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's not ours. I wish it was,
yeah.
But
Go ahead.
He always talks about how the brain is the dumbest muscle or something in the body where like it just believes what you tell it. Yeah. So like if you're telling yourself like, oh, I can never move past this, I can't, I won't, whatever. Like, and that's what comes with affirmations too. And just knowing like you have the power to change the narrative on what you've gone through. Like it's not lying, it's not anything like that. It's not saying like you didn't go through this. It's changing how you're reacting to it. And it's just like there's so many different people that think like, oh well, yeah, I could think whatever I want of myself. I can think about it makes a appearance in this episode. Just knowing like I used to speak so poorly and low of myself just for so many years, thinking, yeah, I'm not anything. I'm not this. I'm not that. I can't be this. I'll never be this. When, like, just like you were saying, like, I was very early on in our relationship, I questioned his love for me, or I questioned how good our relationship was going to be. I questioned how long it would last. I questioned because of the external factors that were going on around us, and also the internal factors within me. And it wasn't until he was like, all right, okay, game on. All right, so so for 24 hours, I want you to write down every negative thought that you ever think to yourself, about something. Write it down. He was like, write it down in something that you're not going to forget. Write it down like something that's going to be top of mind. Like just write it in your phone. I came up with, I think that it was 158 different things about myself, about other people, just awful things about myself. A lot of it is just repetitive. So like just hearing, oh, I'm so clumsy, I'm unlovable, I'm on this, I'm whatever. Like, you can imagine after so many years, like, that was just 24 hours. Imagine how many days are in a week, how many days are in a month, how many hours in a year. Like, that stuff builds up. And that's when...
And I'm glad you went there, because, like, you know, this is my area of expertise.
That's why I'm having you finish it.
Talking about affirmations, like, for real, like, what I just brought into this room is my list, my personal list of affirmations that I hang, on purpose hang it right by the door. So whenever I'm leaving the house, I have to keep my mind on those affirmations. And what Alyssa just said is completely 100% true. One of the best ways to take care of your star player is to make sure that your star player got some positive self-talk. Like, when I realized that, and I think I got it out of a book, honestly. The moment that I got this tattoo was the moment that I decided to stop playing a victim to my own mind. And I realized that my negative self-talk was, hey, look, if we could get a trophy for that, like if that was like the Super Bowl,
all three of us would win.
That was like if that was like the WrestleMania of like the WrestleMania win of the century, like anytime I had a negative self-talk, I would be out of this world, like phenomenal, in the Hall of Fame for everything. Like, I promise you I would. So like, for real, my negative self-talk was so deep that it kept me, like, even when things like, it would be things like perceived problems would keep me from doing what I was supposed to be doing. Perceived problems. It wasn't even an actual problem. It was things that I was making up in my head. So like, for real, my negative self-talk was this, right? I am the worst there is. I am not strong. I am weak. I have plenty of fear. I am soft. Like, real talk. Like, I am not fit. I am breakable. I am beatable. Everybody can beat me. I am stoppable. I am not fierce. Like, and I'm pretty sure y'all can't see this, but like, for real, these are the actual opposite of the things that I put on this on my list of affirmations, because like I wrote down, just like the thing that I told Alyssa to do, 24 hours. I wrote down every negative thought that I had. The brain is the stupidest muscle in the body, is what Carl said. Brain is the stupidest muscle. Anything after the word I is true.
Yep.
Everything after I is true. Like no matter what you like, I am trying to. Like you're not succeeding. So your brain is like,
okay, well then I'm
all right. Yeah, I guess we're going.
Okay,
I guess
cool.
we're gonna keep going through this loop.
Right.
The brain is like, all right, I got you. So like the universe, I don't know how the universe does it, but like for real, like when you tell your brain something, everything else follows suit. Like I don't know if y'all ever watched The Secret. Have you seen The Secret?
I don't think so. It's a
Powerful.
book, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
book
It is.
as well as like a documentary series.
Yeah,
on.
there's about manifesting the things that you put into the universe. But I watched that, and I read a book called Unfuck Yourself. Yeah. So yeah.
Deep.
Yeah. I don't remember what book I got it from, but I sat down and I wrote all of my affirmations, and the top 63 were the ones that made it on this list. So I took those negative thoughts and I reversed those negative thoughts, and I started saying them every single day. Now, Alyssa, when and she still can't do it now, but like
I'm still improving.
I can sit here right now and tell you and like yell these affirmations at the top of my lungs without even looking at this list. And when I'm going through a negative situation, I tell myself, I say those same affirmations. So like, you have to stop talking to yourself in such a negative light. Like whatever you think about yourself, whatever you, and it's not even about what you think about yourself. It's about what you know you can be. Like, damn what you think about yourself. You ain't right. Like you're not right. Like it like and I don't know what y'all believe in, but every Bible, Quran, whatever, the Torah, it say that man like life and death in the power of the tongue. So whatever you say out of your mouth, it becomes, because our thoughts become things. So you're saying that there's something wrong with you. There's that you can't be fixed. You are broken. And she said something about listening to Evanescence. I promise you, that's the worst thing to listen to when you in a situation.
It'll bring you down.
But ain't it though?
It'll
But
make you
like,
cry and let
you know what I'm saying? The song "Broken" though with Seether, like I love that song though. Like I don't know why, but anyway, it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But don't do things that are going to like, because it feels good to feed negative thoughts as well. That's why our brains do this thing where we find relief in listening to the music that amplifies how we feel in the moment. That's why when we're listening to emo music, like I was real emo growing up, so I promise you I understand. Like very, very obvious. Very, very obvious. You know, I bet like I stay wearing a black tee, but anyway, they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Be careful when you're feeding the mind, because this is all about the mind. You think it's about your heart, you think it's about your spirit, and like I feel it, I understand, but it's all about the mind, because because your thoughts become things. So write down those negative thoughts, and it's gonna hurt. I promise you it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt
a lot.
So the best thing that I have for depression is to figure out the wavelength in which your brain is trying to create, because it might just be a situation that your brain is trying to create things on a certain level, but you're stopping it. Your way of life is stopping it. So sit down with yourself and just think. The brain has 84,000 thoughts per day. 84,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot. And if you're constantly thinking negatively about yourself, it's going to show. You're going to internalize that. So just turn those thoughts into positive thoughts. Write down all of the negative thoughts about yourself and then reverse them. And let those be your affirmations. Let those be the things that you tell yourself when
times
you're
are hard, or situations are rough, or
right.
Whatever the case might be.
Right, because when I first got this tattoo, the only thing that I did, I wrote down those thoughts, and I put my hand on it just to let myself know that I'm still alive, because I can feel my pulse. Let myself know that I'm still alive, and I'll say my affirmations. That got me through it. That got me through a lot. And whatever your thing is, you're going to have to come up with those things to tell yourself in those dark moments, and that's the only thing that's going to matter. That's the thing that's going to get you through the storm. That is the thing that's going to pull you through. None of the stuff external is going to pull you through. I promise you. Drugs, alcohol, none of that. Ain't nothing going to pull you through but you. And like a mentor of ours say, you owe it to you to get through that storm.
Nice plug. Well, and not only that, but not to bring down the energy or the passion behind what you're saying, but like imagine like if you were to, in your situation, like when you were thinking like, oh, my mom is saying that I'm a narcissist or whatever the case might be, oh, I'm not worth it on this earth, oh, I'm not this, that, and the other. Imagine if you had things like going in your head like, okay, I will get through this. Me and my daughter will have great things. Me and her will have the world. Me and like, imagine the narrative, how it could change the entire situation. Like you might have not ever thought to ever have any suicidal thoughts or anything like that if you had things that just changed the way that you were seeing yourself. Yeah. And there's so many different people that go through that. Like, I'm one of the few fortunate ones that I was like, yeah, no, I don't like blood, so I'm not going to go that route. But, like, there's just so many people that deal with things internally for way longer than they ever would need to. And either whether or not they want to stop it or just hope that things get better, but not knowing necessarily how to or how to change the way that they're thinking about it. That they just don't know how to get out.
Yeah. It's like a darkness. It feels like a brick in a spider web that you just keep trying to push off of you. But there's always somebody there, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if it's not, and I found comfort in strangers. Like, this is odd, but I was having a conversation with somebody who came to the ABC store, and she said, strangers are the best people to talk to because they won't go running and tell your business. And they actually do listen. I found comfort with strangers. Not everybody can say that. Maybe some people are introverted. Write it out. If you have a dog, talk to your dog or cat.
Yeah.
Or squirrel puppy.
Yes, a squirrel puppy. And always remember, like, what's going on?
No, you did.
Always remember that you're a rock star. Like, you really are somebody. Like, no matter what anyone else says, I don't care who's downing you or making you feel like doo-doo, you are somebody. And I posted this on my page a while ago. Well, technically yesterday. It said, nothing is impossible. Change your way of thinking and you can be or have whatever you truly desire. So just remember, like, your mind is either going to be your biggest strength or your biggest downfall.
And the choice is yours.
Yes,
completely.
It's literally yours. Like you choose whichever path you want to go. Like Robert Frost said, there was two paths in the woods. I chose to take the road less traveled. It is your choice.
It's always your choice.
And to that note of talking to people, I really didn't really have people to actually vocalize anything that I was going through when I was going through it. At that point, I had to cut off just about everybody that I know, and I stayed to myself. But it worked out for me. I mean, I can't tell nobody to do it because I mean I don't recommend staying to yourself. Talk to somebody if you can. There's multiple resources out here. The Suicide Hotline is one of them. Numbers. Letters. Was it 998? 988. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the Suicide Hotline has is it the same hotline or is it
the same one? I looked it up. It's the same exact one.
Okay.
988.
Yeah. So you don't have to remember the whole Logic song to actually title. Remember the phone number because I swear I don't remember the phone number. I think I have it saved in my phone though. I've personally never called it. I know, and people think that therapy is as an expensive option. BetterHelp is we are not sponsored, by the way. I just want to go ahead and put that out there. BetterHelp is an option. I looked into their price, and it's actually not that bad. And there, for what I've been told, there are actually some medical insurances that cover part of your mental health as well as your physical health. So I will look into that. As an option, like for real, like our parents were wrong. Like our parents were wrong, yo, for real. Like they tell us that we can't have feelings, and you know, especially as a child, you learn that, you know, your feelings are bad. Those emotions that you got, like you might as well go ahead and put them down. Like you stop crying before I give you something to cry for.
Yeah.
All of those things, like yo, for real. Like I've heard all of it. So like your parents were wrong. Like they choose to go through it, and it worked out for them. But for real, like they drink all the time and all that other stuff like that. Yeah. I ain't gonna go there. We ain't gotta talk. They're not their problems, not mine. I'm gonna focus on mine. Leave that alone. Anyway, they tell you that your emotions aren't valid. Your emotions aren't real. Your feelings aren't important. But for real, they are. So get out there, talk to somebody, find somebody to talk to, find a circle of people. You know, even here on the members of Ascension Media Group, like we are here for you to have that conversation. You know, the Dirty Trump podcast is the place where the elephant is always welcome. Do y'all know what that means? That means that we have uncomfortable conversations. I have had uncomfortable conversations with people. There have been situations where there have been individuals that I can, like, they say something randomly off the wall, and this is how I caught Alyssa slipping one day, right? They say something randomly off the wall, and I'm like, I hear it, and I'm like, oh, you got something going on behind the scenes, huh? All right, let's talk about it. And I'm gonna grill you on it, because I know for a fact that talking about it is the first way through it. Not ignoring the problem is the first way through it. So, you know, there's a circle around. There's a circle anywhere you look. Only thing you had to do is open your eyes and see that they're there for you. All right, and I am done. I don't know if I
capped.
I don't know how long we've been going. This is a
525,600 minutes.
Oh, we've actually been going for 4 hours. So
4 hours. Jesus, it's been 4 hours.
For an hour.
Oh,
don't let the
I'm
accent
slow.
fool you.
Sheesh. Oh,
It's
man.
okay, I'm the interpreter.
Anybody got
That's
anything else to add?
Just keep pushing, y'all. Keep pushing. Keep on pushing. Keep swimming. Breathe and be. Live, be, and breathe. Straight up.
I like that.
All right, friends. God damn it.
The names. What's the name?
Pandora
Bloom.
Bloom. All right, Miss Bloom. Where can we find you at on tell them all your social medias and everything. We're gonna obviously plug you in the details and the show notes. So
I'm low key.
Let
bad
everybody
at
know where to find you at.
All right, so y'all can find me on Instagram because I get on there a lot and I post a lot of inspirational things for people. I dance around and I just post quotes that you can look at to make you happy. You can find me on Instagram at Pandora Bloom. That's XX Pandora Bloom XX. You can find me on Twitter at X Pandora Bloom X, and you can actually follow Wine Rants or Sober Thoughts, like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube, or you could follow them on Twitter, and that is WROST TV.
All right, I do have a question about your platform. So last time I went on there, I saw that you had like a lot of different artists and stuff like that you feature with. Explain that. Like, is it just like a media company that you got going on, or like it's bigger than just a podcast? So let's talk about that.
It's more than a podcast, literally.
Let's talk about it.
I am into video editing. I act. I have a DJ. She makes the music. I have a artist. She creates the art. It's just like a whole thing of like entertainment.
That's awesome.
That's dope.
It's literally, and Richmond is not the place for it. We're not gonna get into that. But what I've been trying to do is bring people together who are like-minded, like podcasts, artists, whatever, and like just have them. Either I was gonna make a video for them or just have a platform for them.
Right.
However, being in the area that we're in, it's a popularity contest. So
I've noticed
you get
that.
What I'm saying? Yeah. And so it's like I do have artists that I have in mind to interview, but I want more. But the ones that I look at are like distant, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Hence the reason, like one of my friends, he's a fashion designer. I was gonna fly to Cali and go interview him, but Keeping Up with Clyde, that's actually an interview that I did over Zoom cam, but my flight got canceled. But I did interview Braven. He's a dancer. He danced for Raspy and B2K.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's not, I don't know how to explain it, but it's literally entertainment. Like, it's a podcast where I interview people about just about anything. Like, when you listen to the radio, 106.5 The Beat, they have music. When you listen to Oprah, she talks about people's day-to-day life, their problems, issues. Ellen, she interviews just about anyone.
Right.
My inspiration comes from all of that. So that's what it is. It's entertainment.
That's awesome.
It's more
That's
than
awesome.
just a podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, I know I saw we had some mutual friends, and I was like,
We do?
yeah. Are you familiar with the music shop? You
I might.
and
No.
OG Illa.
We probably met at the radio station. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Like
yeah.
way back when I was doing it for like with Secret Bonus Level or whatever. We probably met there.
Yeah, all right. So like you following Illa on Instagram, I think. So I was like, maybe she, getting like actually have like some pull with some of these people. Like I was like, all right, cool. So I obviously looked into all of the the current work that you've been doing.
Yeah.
And in recent times, so like that's what made me want to ask about it. I was like, yo, that's kind of cool that she doing that, like putting together. It's like a whole media company going on that side. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
That's where I'm headed. Like that's literally, I have it in my mind. Like there are things that I have in my mind to do, and I'm gonna get there. Like I'm not even questioning myself. I had a dream about it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
But my problem is I'm an introvert.
All right.
I think you might be like me, introverted extrovert.
Yes, I like my friend. Shout out to Siege. He's trying to get me out to go to like parties and stuff, so I can network more.
Yeah.
Because I'm always in the house. But like, I'm getting myself back out there, and I'm making my episodes, and I'm doing whatever. So yeah, it's a whole media thing. It's entertainment, more than just a podcast.
Yeah.
That's dope. All right, folks. She already told you where to find her at. Check out all the links in the show notes. I think you got a link tree. I'll just go ahead.
I sure do.
I'll just go ahead and put that down in the description below. And I think that's all we got. I ain't even about to plug all our stuff. I don't even think it's relevant at this point. So, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Dirty Tron Podcast. Once again, my name is Aaron McDeman, also known as AJ McMullen. With me here is Alyssa Ramirez, my lovely fiance, and Miss Pandora Bloom from Wine Rants and Sober Thoughts. Get over there and check out the Wine Rants and Sober Thoughts podcast. The elephant has come. The elephant has gone. Peace. Love y'all. See y'all next week.